If I told you one role in Marvel Rivals gives you significantly more control over whether you win or lose, would you switch today? Because after watching high ranked gameplay, talking to players across every rank, and looking at how ranked games are actually won, I've come to one conclusion. Not roles. Not all roles are created equal in solo queue. So today we're gonna rank Duelist, Vanguard, and Strategist based on one thing only. Which role gives you the best chance to climb rank when you're playing by yourself? Let's get into it. Alright. We're gonna start with the worst solo queue role. The worst solo queue role, in my opinion, is Vanguard. Now, before Vanguard players grab their pitchforks, hear me out. Vanguard is arguably the most important role in an organized team. You create space, you start engagements, you kill for teammates, you control objectives. The problem, solo queue is not organized. You can make the perfect engage and your team might not follow. You can create space and nobody uses it. You can dive the enemy backline and your DPS is still shooting the tank. Vanguard has massive impact, but much of the impact depends on other players recognizing and capitalizing on what you can do. That's why Vanguard lands at number 3 for solo queue climbing. Amazing role, huge impact, but too dependent on teammates. So with Vanguard, as you can see, as I'm getting this engagement in the background, right? That's the role that I'm on right now, and as I'm getting in this engagement with this background, in the background, I go 32-5 in this game, by the way. We lose because, as you can see, when you're a Vanguard and you're walking forward and creating space, it's totally dependent on your team to occupy this turn. So if your teammates are slow and do not walk forward or start playing passive, your advantage in this role decreases, right? So if you are in a stack, Vanguard is absolutely the best role to carry on because you can communicate with your team, you can tell them to walk up, and you have the highest impact. But when you're solo queuing, you should really not play this role. You should stay away from this role. Alright, now let's move on to the second role, the most consistent role to actually climb on, and that is Strategist. And honestly, this one was close. A great Strategist can absolutely carry games. Strong healing keeps bad teammates alive longer. Strong utility completely swing fights. Good ultimate usage can erase mistakes and win team fights by itself. The reason Strategists don't take the number 1 spot is simple. You're still relying on someone else to convert your value into kills. You could keep your Duelist alive forever, but if they miss every shot, there's only so much you can do. That said, Strategist is probably the most consistent role in rank because you always have value, you always matter, and you'll often have more influence than people realize. And that is because the way that Marvel Rivals is technically set up, right? So because sustain is so high in this game, and most people play around support ults, Strategist is the second easiest role to solo queue on because no matter what, if you play good, if you play bad, you're gonna have value, right? Because of your support ult. The only time you don't have value as Strategist is if you're letting the other team outcycle your support ult or you're having like useless deaths. That's the only time as a Strategist you're not really gonna have impact. But other than that, like the role pretty much has the second highest impact. Alright, so as you can guess, this leaves you with the last role in the game, and it's the king of solo queue, Duelist. And honestly, it's not even particularly close. Why? Because eliminations win games. Every role contributes to winning fights, but Duelists are the role most capable of ending fights by themselves. A Vanguard creates opportunity, a Strategist enables opportunities, and a Duelist converts opportunities. When you secure 2 quick picks, the fight is basically over. You don't need your teammates to understand your engage. You don't need your teammates to follow up perfectly. You just remove enemy players from the fight. The higher your mechanical skill, positioning, and decision making, the more Duelist rewards you. That's why so many players who speed climb ranks spend most of their time on Duelist heroes. It is simply the role with the highest carry ceiling. But there's a huge caveat to this that I think people don't understand. So Duelist and Vanguard and support's role importantness in a team, I guess is the word I'm looking for, but value, I guess value is a better word. Value in a team decreases the higher you climb. So all the way up until probably like GM, you can solo queue Duelist and only pick Duelist and pretty much affect every team fight you're in because team in those ranks don't play as coordinated as people make it out to be, right? A lot of people play like hero shit. A lot of people play isolated from their teammates. So you can still secure eliminations and the team isn't that coordinated. When you get to like GM2-1 or GM2, GM1, Celestial, that's when Duelist starts to lose its value, and it kind of, the rankings kind of inversely swap, because again, Duelist goes to the bottom and Vanguard kind of moves to the top, because in those ranks, you're not going to be able to get isolated picks as much, right? Because the teams are going to fight together. So unless you're getting hard-pocketed or you're taking a resource from your team as a Duelist that your team needed to win a team fight, you're probably not going to have as much value. The other problem with Duelist and high rank is people will like counter pick to completely basically make you useless. So for example, if you play dive heavy DPS and you've been playing dive heavy DPS all the way from bronze to grandmaster, when you start getting a higher grandmaster and celestial, people will start playing like Namor, Bucky, active characters to help counter you. So you'll basically just get killed. So what does that mean? Basically, the higher you climb, the more diverse in roles you have to be. So the true answer for this video is not what role carries the most, but what role you should learn. And that's why people are now making the argument. A lot of players make the argument for the fact that you should just be a flex player. Because if you main one role, like Duelist or Strategist or Vanguard, and you try to climb by yourself, especially Vanguard, it's not gonna happen. Especially in the lower ranks, because it's so hard to force value out of Vanguard in lower ranks, because you could walk forward and your teammates could not, right? And then also in low rank with Vanguard, like outside of tanks like Magneto, Groot, and Strange, people don't know how to, and Emma sometimes, people don't really know how to play with those ranks or those tanks in rank, right? So I'll give you a prime example. Right now it's 3 minutes and 38 seconds left on the clock, and this is when we start to lose the game. So watch how my team just completely changes the way we play, right? We have forced about 3 swaps on their team. Right now they're triple DPS. They're triple DPS, duo support, and 1 tank. They went from 2 tanks, they went from 222 to triple support, now to triple DPS. Now watch what happens when they go triple DPS. Watch how the fight just literally changes, right? So I'm all the way up here, pushing back the cart, and look, my team is on the ramp still. My Devil Dino is chasing somebody in the back line. Nobody's creating pressure, and they're just gonna continuously push the cart backwards. They're just gonna continuously push the cart backwards. And this ends up being the reason why we lose the game, because we don't maintain frontline pressure, and they just continuously push us back, and they're just gonna out-ult cycle us right here. So if I pause and you look right now and you look at the ultimates that we have versus the ultimates they have, we have 1, 2, 3 ultimates. They have 1, 2, 3 ultimates, right? Now, if we continue the gameplay, just watch. Just watch how the ult economy shifts. So Punisher's gonna pop his ult right here. Our Rocket popped his ult to keep Storm alive.
Emma Frost never surrenders.
Dino pops his ult.
You crossed my path! Gotcha!
And we get absolutely no value. Rocket pops his ult.
It's okay. Admit it. You need me.
A shield, how quaint. Soon we'll liberate this place.
We push them back a lot right here. They support ult. We're still pushing them back. They support ult. White Fox is low. I forced White Fox out of her support ult. And now I'm just taking damage. And they're gonna walk up, and this is when we lose the fight. We lose the fight. We lose the game after this, right here.
I'm back.
Look at their support ults, right? They're about to have a Cyclops ult. He's 68% to a Punisher ult. White Fox is already 22% to her ult. We have no support ult. The closest ult we are to is mine and Wanda's ult. Cyclops has his ult now. Wanda wasted her ult. I don't know what the fuck that was. Cyclops ult. He gets 2 with his ult. Both supports. And then this is pretty much GG after this.
Down to 30 seconds.
Now they're gonna be close. Now they have Punisher ult again. Hella ult, and they're almost back to their Luna ult.
Final 10 seconds.
Judge, jury, executioner!
Not there yet. Going to overtime.
Yep. And now we don't have an ult. They're 90% to their Luna ult, and they're almost 90% to their White Fox ult. They're 95% to their Hella ult, and it's overtime now. And we don't. The closest ult we have is Rocket ult. Game's over. We don't touch. Now look at the scoreboard at the end of this game. Cyclops went 29-8, had 18 elims. I went 32-8, right? We had Stranger 26-5, 34-8, 25-6, 13-8, 21-6. But we lost because they cycled more ultimates. They did. Their Luna went negative and only healed for 2k. Their Punisher only healed for 9k before swapping. And their White Fox, who healed the whole time, only healed for 6k. But you see what I'm talking about? Like, you see how hard it is to get value on tank? Like, look at this. Look at the finals. We had a higher final ratio than them. We had 22 finals compared to their... No, they beat us in finals. They had 35 finals compared to our 22 finals. Right? Both our DPSs had a combined for 11. Their DPSs combined for 28, 35 finals. They had 3 DPSs, right? Their supports combined for 6. Our supports combined for 12. Their tank combined for none. We combined for 18. So this is what I'm talking about when I say, like, it changes inversely based on what you play, right? Support is, or not support, DPS is the easiest role to get solo queue value on because he got 18 finals. 18 finals, and that's what carried his team to a win. He had 18 finals. And they won because he had 18 finals, right? They, compared to us, they had way more deaths. But they win because that guy gets 18 finals, right? And outside of team play, this is pretty much how this game goes. Right? But if you peel back the layers of the onions and you look at why they actually won, it was because they cycled ults faster than us, right? At the end of the day, this game is still an ultimate slop game. Like, people like to call this game poke slop, bro slop, dive slop, but the actual slop in this game is supports, or not support, it's ultimate. It's an ultimate based game. Whoever has their ultimate the most wins. Whoever doesn't have their ultimate loses. That's pretty much how this entire game is played. It's based off whoever gets their ultimate first. So, like I said, if we were to rank, the ranks are solo queue. 3 would be Vanguard, 2 would be Strategist, and 1 would be Duelist. Now, before the comments explode, this doesn't mean Vanguard and Strategists are weak. Not even close. And coordinated teams, like I said before, have to actually put Vanguard at the top. But this video isn't about organized play. It's about solo queue. And when you're relying on yourself to drag games across the finish line, no role gives you more control over the outcome than Duelist. The question is, do you agree, or do you think another role deserves the #1 spot? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.